Welcome back to my channel, LGBT Crime Files. If you're new here, this is where we uncover true crime cases that have deeply impacted the LGBTQ+ community. If you care about justice and want to make sure these stories are never forgotten, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let's get the conversation going. Now, let me tell you, my obsession with crime documentaries started years ago. But the more I watched, the more I realized just how many LGBTQ+ victims never received the justice or recognition they deserved. And that's exactly why we're here. To shed light on these stories, honor the victims, and push for real change. Today, we're diving into a gut-wrenching case that shook Chile and the world. The horrific murder of Daniel Zamudio. This story isn't just heartbreaking, it's infuriating. And trust me, you won't forget Daniel's name after this. So, who is Daniel Zamudio? Let's take a moment to really get to know him beyond just the headlines. Daniel Mauricio Zamudio Vera was born on August 3, 1987, in San Bernardo, Chile. From a young age, he was known for his kindness, artistic nature, and ambition. He had big dreams and a deep love for music and fashion. Like many LGBTQ+ youth, he struggled with societal acceptance. At the time, Chile was still a deeply conservative country, and LGBTQ+ rights were far from where they needed to be. While Daniel's family loved him, he still faced discrimination, like so many of us do. Despite everything, he held onto his dreams, aspiring to make a name for himself in the fashion and entertainment industry. His friends described him as someone who always lifted others up, even when he was struggling himself. He had a strong support system, especially from his mother, who always encouraged him to be himself. But still, let's be real, growing up LGBTQ+ in a conservative society is tough. Daniel faced bullying, rejection, and all the pain that comes with simply existing as a gay man in a world that isn't always welcoming. He was often harassed on the streets, and like many LGBTQ+ individuals, he had to navigate life carefully, aware that his mere existence could provoke hostility. But did that stop him? No. He turned to art, music, and fashion as an escape, dreaming of a future where he could be unapologetically himself. Tragically, that future would never come. March 2, 2012, a night that should have been just another evening out in Santiago became a nightmare. Daniel was walking through the city when he crossed paths with four men: Patricio Mardigaray, Alejandro Angulo Tapia, Raul Lopez Fuentes, and Fabian Moro. These weren't just any men. They were part of a neo-Nazi gang known for their violent and homophobic beliefs. And Daniel, he became their target. What started as taunting and homophobic slurs quickly escalated into unimaginable brutality. Over the course of 6 hours, these men tortured Daniel in San Borja Park. They beat him mercilessly, burned him with cigarettes, carved swastikas into his skin, and even tried to break his legs. They struck him repeatedly with bottles, kicked him in the face, and left him with multiple skull fractures. The sheer hatred and cruelty they unleashed on him is beyond comprehension. Here's the part that makes my blood boil. Witnesses later testified that these monsters laughed as they tortured Daniel. They treated it like a game, showing zero remorse, zero humanity. And when they were done, they left him there, alone and barely alive, in the park. Hours passed before anyone found him, and by then, the damage had already been done. Daniel was rushed to the hospital, but the doctors knew it was bad. He had suffered severe head trauma, internal bleeding, and multiple broken bones. For 25 days, he fought for his life, slipping in and out of a coma, until he finally passed away on March 27, 2012. His death sent shockwaves through Chile, igniting rage, grief, and a demand for justice. The fight for justice. For the first time, many Chileans had to confront the ugly reality of homophobic violence in their own backyard. The media covered Daniel's case extensively, and the public refused to stay silent. Protests erupted in Santiago and across the country. People held signs reading "Justice for Daniel." His story became a symbol of everything wrong with how LGBTQ+ individuals were treated. Celebrities, politicians, and human rights organizations spoke out, demanding change. And for once, the government had no choice but to listen. Now, let's talk about the monsters behind this crime. The ringleader, Patricio Mardigaray, was a self-proclaimed neo-Nazi with a violent past. He had been arrested before but was never properly punished. The other three, just as bad. Young men who shared his sick ideology and followed him like sheep that night. During the trial, none of them showed an ounce of remorse. In fact, they even mocked Daniel's family in court. Can you imagine the pain his parents felt, having to sit there and listen to their son's killers laugh about it? In October 2013, Patricio Oamada was sentenced to life in prison, while the others received between 7 to 15 years. Some believe justice had been served. Others, not so much. This case showed just how deeply flawed the system was. These men had been walking free for too long before they finally got what they deserved. If there's one silver lining in this tragedy, it's that Daniel's death forced change. His case directly led to the passing of the Zamudio Law, Anti-Discrimination Law number 20.609. This law, signed in July 2012, finally criminalized discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, race, or disability. And Daniel's story continues to inspire activism. Organizations like Movil, Movement for Homosexual Integration, and Liberation work tirelessly to protect LGBTQ+ rights in Chile, ensuring that what happened to Daniel never happens again. Daniel's story is heartbreaking, yet undeniably powerful. His death changed laws, opened eyes, and continues to inspire activism. His legacy is a reminder that we must always fight against hate. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Let's keep his memory alive and keep fighting for justice. Stay safe, stay informed, and never stop speaking out.